Houston, Israelis have a huge problem with our Foreign Minister Yair Lapid. Lapid is also Israel's alternate prime minister and supposed to become prime minister in less than 2 years, according to the rotation agreement with existing Prime Minister Naftali Bennett. Lapid is a huge problem. Huge. Stick with me to find out why. Folks, as you know, social media censorship is growing. The best way to support our video work for Israel is to subscribe to our video newsletter on pulseofisrael.com and to share our videos. If you are already a subscriber, then thank you. I've been calling out Yair Lapid, leader of the Israeli government's largest party, Yesh Atid, for years as a horrific and dangerous political leader for Israel, ever since he first joined Israeli politics. Understand, Lapid used to be a late-night talk show host and journalist before he jumped into politics. His IDF career was not fighting, but writing for the Army magazine, and he has no college education whatsoever. Honestly, anyone can become a politician nowadays. Well, just look at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in the US. So Lapid's background is not the reason that he is so bad. It's his ideology. On top of his background, Lapid is an ideological leftist who supports the establishment of a terror state called Palestine, while also weakening the Jewish character of the State of Israel. And he is publicly supporting enemies of Israel more than Israeli soldiers. This is exactly what was just highlighted this past week that I'm going to break down for you. The latest proof of Lapid being unfit as a leader for Israel is the following tweet yesterday, after it was announced that IDF sniper Barel Achaya Shmueli died of his wounds after being shot at the Gaza border at point-blank range by a Gaza terrorist. This is what Lapid tweeted, quote, "The hearts of all of us with the family and friends of a border police fighter, Barel Hadaya Shmueli, who died of his wounds after being wounded last week by gunfire in the Gaza Strip." It sounds so neutral. Our foreign minister and potential future prime minister made no mention about him being killed by Gaza terrorists and calling out for any action against the terrorists who killed him. No mention how he was shot at point-blank range because of horrendous rules of conduct which prevented him from shooting the terrorists and defending himself. Immoral rules of conduct that Yair Lapid himself supports. At the same time, just days ago, Lapid gave the following eulogy to a member of the Muslim Brotherhood Ram political party, MK Saeed al-Hamrouri, saying that, quote, he fell in battle. Hear it for yourself here. This is a man, Saeed al-Harumi, who just recently on August 22nd was at a rally celebrating the Arab-Israeli Muslims who lynched innocent Jews in the mixed Jewish-Muslim cities back in May. This is a man who back in October 29th, 2019, claimed that the State of Israel is constantly massacring Israeli Arab Muslims. This is a man who publicly has supported Palestinian Authority terrorist leader Marwan Barghouti, who was sitting in Israeli jail for 5 life sentences for his role in countless amount of terror attacks that have killed tons of innocent Israeli civilians over the years. And on top of all that, this man who Lapid praised as falling in battle, praised the horrendous terrorists who murdered innocent Jews in Hebron back in the year 1929, praising them as holy martyrs. Does this man sound like someone who Israel's foreign minister, alternate prime minister, and potential future prime minister should be praising as dying in battle? As an ironic and very sad aside, back in January 2021, Prime Minister Naftali Bennett called out Saeed al-Harumi as being bad news for posting pictures of Marwan Barghouti and the terrorist murders from the 1929 Hebron massacre. And he was in his government. Well, going back to Lapid, many awake Israelis are furious. On the one hand, this potential prime minister minimizes the death of an IDF soldier by terrorists, while on the other hand, he praises an enemy of Israel who supports the terrorists who want to destroy Israel and who kill innocent Israelis. Can you wrap your head around this? This is just the tip of the iceberg of the problem we have with Foreign Minister and potential future Prime Minister in less than 2 years, Yair Lapid. Now, on a global scale, he is even much more dangerous, not just for Israel, but for the whole Jewish people. Just listen to this. Over a month ago, Lapid killed the Jewish people's fight against the growing Jew hatred, aka anti-Semitism around the world. He literally killed the fight against Jew hatred, anti-Semitism. He gave Jew haters all over the world the best ammunition to use against Jews. His own words. Back on July 14th, again, just over a month ago, Lapid made a speech about anti-Semitism and posted it on his Facebook page. What he said and wrote is shocking to the core in a very, very bad way. This is what he wrote, translated into English. Who is anti-Semitic? It's time we start telling the story about the anti-Semites. Well, that sounds like a good start, right? He continues. It's time we tell the world what we're facing. All right, still good. Let's see what comes next. And he continues. The anti-Semites were not only in the Budapest ghetto. The anti-Semites were slave merchants who threw slave ships into the ocean water slaves chained in chains. What? Where was that from? And he continues, the anti-Semites are the members of the Hutu tribe in Rwanda who massacred the Tutsi tribe. Excuse me, what's the connection to anti-Semitism? And he continues, the anti-Semites are Muslim fanatics who have killed more than 20 million other Muslims in the last decade. The anti-Semites are ISIS and Boko Haram. Seriously? Where's Lapid going with this? What in the world does all this have to do with fighting the growing Jew hatred around the world? But Lapid's not finished. He continues. The anti-Semites are people who beat young people from the LGBT community. The anti-Semites are everyone who persecutes people not because of what they did, but because of what they are, because of how they were born. Okay, folks, this is an absolute disgrace from Israel's foreign minister. I can't even continue to read the absolute rubbish he wrote, which totally diminishes the fact that Jews have been persecuted for being Jews for more than 2,000 years all over the world. Something very different than every other type of hate and racism that exists in the world today that should also be fought against. Now, just go to Lapid's Facebook post to read the rest of his horrific words that he said in his speech about anti-Semitism. You get the point? Israel's foreign minister and alternate prime minister and potential future prime minister is trying to connect Jew hatred with all the other intersectional oppressed groups believed by the progressive left. Yet by doing so, he is totally diminishing the uniqueness of Jew hatred, which is as ancient as civilization itself. This man is not only an embarrassment, but he is also a disgrace. Lapid should never be in any leadership position for the Jewish people. Definitely not Foreign Minister of Israel, and definitely not Prime Minister of Israel. Yet he is doing exactly what the Jewish Israel left does. They try to appease the global progressive left, yet they totally destroy our ability, the Jewish people's ability and Israel's ability to stand up for ourselves. The global intersectional left has already labeled Jews as white and privileged, and no speech from Yair Lapid will change that. But what Lapid did do with his speech is give ammunition to Jew haters all over the world. Now, I have a friend who explained the problem of Yair Lapid's speech and of Lapid himself very eloquently. She wrote the following, quote, "In one fell swoop, Lapid ruins the hard work of men and women around the world striving tirelessly to fight anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism, the oldest hate in the world, is unique hate. The terrorists didn't enter the hyper-caché store in Paris, as Obama said, to shoot some folks in a deli. The murderer's goal was to murder the Jews in that kosher store. Today, Jews are being attacked on the streets of even America for the crime of only being visibly Jewish. Equating anti-Semitism with all hate and racism is one step before delegitimizing any recognition of the unique plight of Jews and the Jewish right to self-defense. Because when everyone is responsible, no one takes responsibility. Does that sound far-fetched? It seems to be working beautifully for Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib. We hear their logic all the time. Anti-Semitism is bad because hate is bad and all violence is bad, which is why the IDF is bad, because they are violent towards poor Palestinian children for no reason. And my friend continued, I just never in my wildest nightmares imagined that these talking points would come out of the mouth of an Israeli official, particularly not one currently serving as foreign minister, particularly not one who was supposed to one day become Prime Minister of the Jewish state of Israel. And she ends with, Lord, have mercy on us all. You see, it all comes together. Lapid, as a politician, believes in the whole progressive agenda and thinking that by identifying it, he's helping Israel. Hence, he minimizes Jew hatred, he minimizes the murder of an IDF soldier, and he praises an enemy of Israel. This is just another reason why this current government in Israel must fall as soon as possible. It is not good for Israel, it is not good for the Jewish people, and it is not good for the freedom-loving world. And with it all, as I always say, we all must hold on to our faith. Everything going on is about waking people up to the truth. Things will be good, people, so hold on to your faith. I'm just here sharing the truth, so help me share it with me, and by sharing the truth, we will make the world a better place.
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.